Sodom and Gomorrah, fire and brimstone, Yahweh and Yahweh? Let's think about it. Hey, my name's Justin Harrell. I challenge you to challenge yourself to think about less taught biblical topics. Last time we saw Abram get called, and he had his name changed to Abraham. He's promised the son to be born in a year. But before the child is born, an interesting story takes place regarding Sodom and Gomorrah. Genesis 18:1 and 2. And the Lord appeared to him by the oaks of Mamre, as he sat at the door of his tent in the heat of the day. He lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, 3 men were standing in front of him. When he saw them, he ran from the tent door to meet them and bowed himself to the earth. This is a more famous theophany. The reason is the wording makes it very obvious we're dealing with something that's visible. There's a physical person that Abraham can see. If we look back at this passage, notice the words being used here. The Lord appeared. He lifted up his eyes and looked. They were standing in front of him. He saw them. Abraham even gives the 3 men food to eat. You can only eat if you have some sort of physical presence. After Jesus' resurrection, he's seen eating multiple times as a proof of him being alive bodily. He's not just a spirit, he's not just a ghost. Now, out of these 3 guys, 2 of them are angels, and 1 of them is the Lord, none other than God himself. We learn this from the text. Genesis 18:22. So the men turned from there and went toward Sodom, but Abraham still stood before the Lord. So 2 of them keep traveling onward to Sodom, and when we flip to the next chapter, we learn their identity. In Genesis 19:1 it says, the 2 angels came to Sodom in the evening. Now these 2 angels find out firsthand just how wicked Sodom is. But Abraham haggles over the fate of Sodom. He's got family there. He's a bit bold with his petition, and I can't help but see a picture here. Abraham, as he's now named, is a follower of God. He can come boldly to God because he now has God's righteousness accredited to him simply because he placed his faith in him. He trusts God. So the haggling begins. What about 50? 45? 40? 30? 20? 10? God will spare this city filled with wickedness for just 10 people. You can learn something about the character of God here. God is extremely patient, and even more so when the righteous are living among the wicked. You know, these days there's a lot of wickedness going on, and many times it's portrayed as righteousness. There are organizations and entire governments bent on evil today. You might be thinking, why doesn't God just do something about it already? Well, just maybe they're actually righteous people working in these organizations and governments. It would have only taken 10 to save Sodom. Something to think about. But eventually judgment time comes. And even then, God first removes the righteous. God will wait until the righteous are safe. Abraham's nephew Lot and his family are told to get out of town. Genesis 19:22. Escape there quickly, for I can do nothing till you arrive there. Genesis 19:23 and 24. The sun had risen on the earth when Lot came to Zoar. Then the Lord rained on Sodom and Gomorrah sulfur and fire from the Lord out of heaven, and he overthrew those cities, and all the valley, and all the inhabitants of the cities, and what grew on the ground. You know, sometimes I wonder how this took place. No, not likely. What? You really think God used technology? That seems like magic. Ooh, now this could explain the sulfur.
Now, you could be onto something here. Stony meteorites contain a wide variety of sulfur compounds, including water and acid-soluble sulfides.
But how it happened isn't really my main focus. It's who made it happen. The wording you hear here is strange. Just like that sentence I just spoke. The wording you hear here is strange. In other words, the wording in this passage should sound strange to you. When that happens, investigate. Stop and think about it. Let's look at verse 24 again. Then the Lord rained on Sodom and Gomorrah sulfur and fire from the Lord out of heaven. Wait, the Lord did something from the Lord out of heaven? Both of the words Lord are the tetragrammaton, Yod He Vav He. So it's saying that Yahweh called down fire from Yahweh out of heaven. This shows two Yahwehs.
This is getting out of hand. Now there are two of them.
One in heaven that's invisible and one on earth that is visible. Because Abraham and Lot can see him. Distinct persons, yet the same Yahweh. How does that work? Exactly. People have wrestled with comprehending this since the beginning of time. But it's true nonetheless. God in heaven, that Yahweh, is the same Yahweh that shows up in the Old Testament as the angel of the Lord. God's name is in this visible manifestation. And that's something we should think about.